Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here today for the Beyond Influence video series because we have a very, very special guest. She is Anna Carling, and she's going to share with us how you can apply the basic wisdom of ancient cultures to heal pain and connect with your inner being, something that we all can use. So I'm excited to connect with Anna here today because we've known each other for years, really. I know how gifted she is, and you're going to get a lot of value out of today's conversation. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her background, okay? Anna Carling is a clarified spirit and healthcare practitioner who helps those with physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual pains to self heal and reach a permanent spiritual and physical harmony. Applying her systematic East West strategies and tools, her clients allow their spirit to be the leader of their beliefs, thoughts, and actions. With over 50 years of experience, Anna practiced counseling until 2009, and now she heals and changes lives through her writing and programs. And you can connect with Anna at happysoulhealthybody.com. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the way you present a new topic, and I know my mind starts racing already of what I want to talk to you, but you just tell me to be quiet and keep asking your intelligent questions. And I don't see them just intelligent. I really hear them as being very caring, and this is why it's so much fun to work with you. So,
Well, thank you, Anna.
so what am I to tell you now?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm so excited to have you here because just being in your presence is just so inspiring. And that leads me to my first question then. Why specialize in the art of self-healing? Because I feel like a lot of people have this belief that others have to do the healing, that it's really not in their power to heal themselves. So tell us about why you decided to focus on this.
Well, I tell you, it's been with me all my life, even as a very young child. I used to go under the kitchen table because I just wanted to connect into my inner being that brings in the harmony, the conflicts and what goes on in the world. They are not of me, they are outside of my inner being. So I've always had this drive to listen inwardly. And when I actually had the inspiration to do self-healing, was when I was a teenager and I was in high fever of, I think it was rheumatic fever, and there was a doctor beside my bed. And I heard him say to my father that this girl will not see her 18th birthday. Well, I tell you, that really got my back up. And I thought, I quietly said to him, I wouldn't dare to say anything, loudly. But I said, well, who are you to tell me how long I'm going to live on this earth? And I'm going to make sure that I'll live much longer than you think, for sure. So I began to I became interested in herbal medicine because I think that is, to me, the natural way for healing. And then soon decided to become a nurse because I knew that the Western medicine is going in a different direction in terms of chemicals and so on. Even at that time, there's awesome healing that happens through Western medicine and all the innovations that have happened. But really, the natural way where I tune into my soul and spirit and I listen inwardly, what is bringing harmony to my life? This is the core question. And I know that is a core question for everyone, particularly now when we have been living such a disturbing times. So, I was naturally led into the natural way of healing. After graduating as a public health nurse in Finland, I came to Canada, and I worked at the Toronto Western Hospital. But there was always this longing that I could actually work on my own, because I don't follow instructions too well. That's been the issue with me for all my life. So I've been, fumbling along, but always living from that standpoint of my belief system and checking inwardly, what am I to share with people? And after becoming a Chinese medical practitioner and having worked so many years to get those skills, and then having gone to Shanghai and then practicing in Toronto, it's brought more and more learning. So really, ultimately, when I was writing this material to you, the final statement that I made, that after all the learning, after all the years of practice, I still am primarily a student, because there's nothing but learning. The soul, the spirit, has come on this earth to learn to overcome the challenges and learn about the brilliance of the original state of being, which is the spirit. So now I've sort of gone round the circle and have come into not only the realization, but the courage to declare that whenever I speak with other people, like speaking with you and preparing for this interview. I had to say, well, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to say very simply that my own belief system of the eternal spirit and the inner guidance of the Almighty is the key to harmony. Right.
That's beautiful. Yeah, so it looks like, for what you have said, that our health, both physical health and spiritual health, are closely tied to the state of harmony. But harmony means to be pretty much aligned with our spiritual selves. So if that's the case, is the experience of reaching a state of harmony the same for everyone, or does it vary depend on the challenges we're going through, or maybe our personalities? Does anything play a role in it, or is it pretty much a similar experience for everyone?
Well, of course it's different for everyone. We are all different. And this is the miracle of life. I mean, you don't even have a leaf of a tree that is similar to some other leaf. This is the awesomeness of creation. And more so, as human spirits, we have been stamped with qualities that carry us through life and teach us those lessons that we have come to learn here. And the key is to realize that we are this eternal spirit. And the spirit is the one that can determine what lessons it draws to itself and what it learns. So, so it's a lifelong. For me, I'm learning all the time. So I'm ready not to graduate from this university of the earth, So I'm just here, but I'm also enjoying it. And now I'm enjoying it even more, because I don't have to worry about other people's opinions anymore. I just can be my own happy, laughing self and have fun. And that is, I think, what life is all about once you learn enough lessons,
Right.
you know.
That's
But
true.
most people, including myself, when you're young, you just dive into experiences and you don't understand them. It is only later that you learn to understand the value of all these incredible challenges.
Mhm.
For instance, I have had this financial challenge all my life because when I was a little child, we had very little, and it was in northern Finland, and so there was always need. So I kind of identified with lack, and so I carried that. But then I had this experience as a result of a workshop I did with using Francisco Cole's uh, characteristics from a booklet, Man and the Universe. And I learned that, oh, yeah, I came back from this workshop. I told you about this last few weeks ago. I came back and I was so exhausted. But I had a dream that I was taken underworld. And one of the things happened there was I got hold of my inner child, the little Anna, and I held her hand and we started running and so happily running toward my bank. Can you imagine? And I knew that, well, I don't have to be tied into my sense of poverty or lack anymore. It's changing now. So this is how we can do the inner work. But we have to be willing to listen, you know? So
Exactly.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love it. So, I mean, I love that the fact that you've gone through so many challenges and have had so many different experiences, and then you can put it all together so that we can, I guess, have a shorter path to achieving those results, which is feeling vibrant and healthy. As a result of years of studies, but also generations really that developed these methods of healing, right? Like the ancient cultures, and it's something that you have drawn from. So tell us about that. Like, what are some of those ancient wisdom techniques or healing techniques that we can apply to our bodies and minds and souls today?
Well, this is again, we have to go into the simplicity of these teachings, the ancient teachings. They were not complicated because there was less static of the mind in between. So there was inner listening. That inner listening is the key. Inner listening and then doing what it takes to live what you have learned from the inner listening. Well, our life is so complicated now. And it's very, so much going on in the world. But if we are not willing to spend the time listening to our heart and to our soul, we are always running. you know, there's no, so that is one thing. Then it is the willingness to say, okay, I need a certain disciplines. So my choice was to study Chinese medicine. And when I go into something, I go thoroughly. So I got graduated in California, and I was licensed in California. And then I went to Shanghai and did postgraduate work. So the learning becomes more refined. It becomes like anything. I mean, you have your field that I know you love it, and you have been. I known you long enough to realize that you have been refining it for many years. And now you are so relaxed with it, and you have a wonderful following, and you are successful, and I celebrate that with you. Well, any field requires discipline. Any field requires life experience. So that's one thing in learning to heal, not only yourself, but then learn to help other people, because we really are here in service. That is what we are in. I mean, there's this inner calling. Inner calling that we all have is to help others. So, and that is what being a true human being is. You know, we cannot all be Mother Teresa, and we don't have to be that. But we have to be there with a compassionate meeting with another human being and say, oh, I'm there with you. You are okay. Know that I support you in my mind and my heart. And I want all the best for you. So that's a simple thing to do. And I think the ancient cultures taught that. So they had what they call shamans, and the shamans were the doctors. Even in Chinese medicine, the name of a doctor is a sound that shamans did thousands of years ago when they healed with the sound. And the sound, I can't do it right now. Sometimes I practice it in my car when nobody's listening, but it has something to do like, it's a very high sound. So, and that still means doctor in Mandarin, you know? So that is how it had its origin. So really, one of the most important thing in self-healing is being able to sing or hum. You know how we soothe a child, we cradle it, you know, when those of us that have children, you know, and they quiet down because they listen to that loving hum. We could learn to hum, you know, with that intention. That already would be a step, you know, and I do that. I sing when I, you know, do things, and and I tell you something about my childhood, because I had a pretty good singing voice, but I couldn't accept the theory of the Western music, so I flunked all my theories. In Finland, music is very important in the school. And I always got six because I just couldn't stand it, because it didn't go into the simplicity of the sound enough, or to the sound of the soul, you know, which I know that is in a five, you know, in five tones of ancient cultures. You know, we added more sophisticated.
Yeah,
And when it becomes sophisticated, you know, it loses something, you know.
that's right.
So,
So I love that they just it's so it's simplicity. It's just going back to basics, right? Um,
yeah.
yeah. So then, would you say, because you mentioned there are several practices that we can adopt, um, does the practice that we choose to do as part of our healing process depend on what we're going through? And does it matter when we do these practices? Do we have to have a routine? Like, what would you recommend?
I tell you, whatever path of healing you choose, um, really the connecting with the essence of your being is the key. And the connecting with that spirit is only possible through meditation and silence. So you have to be willing to listen inwardly. You can't even find what the right way of healing for is. You know, it may not be, you know, it doesn't have to be the kind of healing that I do, but there are times that I come to contact with people and they actually tune into that essence of my being because I happen to be in that state, and their life change. It's like that moment of epiphany or your self-realization that and then it's such a joyous experience, not only for them but for me, because ultimately I like to be that shaman that does the sound, and that helps heal.
Exactly. So would you say, is it better to have a practice with others, or can you do it on your own too? Or does it depend on the person as well?
Well, I think what happens is that you have to have the willingness to go to the silence within your own being, and out of that you hear inner guidance, and the inner guidance will take you where you perhaps benefit the most. It could be a friend, it could be a practitioner of Reiki, Chinese medicine, naturopath, chiropractor. I mean, it could be but always make sure that it comes from that inner place, because otherwise you'll go from one practitioner to another, and you don't build the belief system within yourself, which is the perception of your state. Now, even the biologists now say that perception changes biology. Your thinking, your belief system can help you heal. So look for that positive state of being that will bring that balance and harmony to your heart. When we are in love, we don't have pain, do we? So let's be in love. Let's just work toward being in love. And the greatest love is life itself. There is nothing but that great love. So, and I keep telling that to people now, that let's stay in great love and let's be in love. I've got all kinds of techniques. I have all discipline that I have gone through. But as you and I talk and you understand this, what I ultimately want to share with people, this is what counts. So let's be in love.
I love that because, yes, it's not necessarily what technique you choose or what time of the day you do it, or what practitioner or provider helps you out. It really comes down to following whatever path is given by your spirit, by your inner being, and going with that.
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't feel like you are some kind of a, going from one end to the other. You are centered, and out of that will come help. The inner guidance, your angels are there. All you have to do is to ask. And that is how prayer is so powerful. But we've gone through so many religions in the last thousands of years, and every religion has kind of spoiled that simplicity of it. So anyway, I love talking about this with you.
Well, I have a tough question for you, Anna. I know we're getting close to the end of our conversation, but this is a question that I guess I have had throughout my life, and I hear people who have the same question, and it's about knowing when you are truly connected with your inner guidance, or you're just letting kind of like those negative thoughts maybe take over and guide you Maybe you're acting out of fear rather than pursuing what really comes from your spirit. So how do you know whether you are really connected with that inner guidance? Do you need to give yourself X amount of time, or what is the sign that you can trust to know that you can move forward?
I'm so glad you asked this question because it's not complicated. You know, it's not complicated. You wake up in the morning and your thoughts go to something that you've been worried the day before. Just go back into that essence of being and ask, let go these thoughts. Please guide me to the brilliance of my soul, to the brilliance of my spirit, to the great love that is ultimately in charge. You know that. I know that. Everyone knows that on all levels of being. You don't have to say, oh, I'm spiritually. You know, when you are embracing your beloved one, you feel safe. You feel comfortable. So to start your day, not accepting these thoughts that will lead you into this worry, anxiety, fear, anger, you know? And if they don't leave you, then reach out to someone like me who has done the work and has professional means to help you. You the more you work on yourself and your clarity of your spirit, the more there's to learn. You never graduate until you graduate. you know. So that's so simple. So don't be afraid to ask a friend, to listen to your friend, but don't buy on everybody's opinions because they are just opinions in the wind. You know, you have to affirm that inner certitude, that inner trust, that inner great love connection, because you wouldn't exist without it. I mean, we know that. Nobody would. Nothing would exist without it.
Well said. And I love that answer, Anna. And I'll listen to that, listen to my inner guidance, and act quickly when those thoughts come my way. I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
So now, if I know that if you're listening to this conversation, if you're watching, you're probably inspired to take that next step and really learn more from what Anna has to share. So Anna, can you please share with us how we can connect with you and access the many resources that you have available for us?
Well, I think probably the best thing would be um, to look at my website first, because there's a lot that you can learn in terms of self-healing practices there. You can learn the foundation disciplines for Chinese medicine. You can learn also the modern science, the neural studies that have been done, and the realization that we can physically connect by understanding how the hormonal system in the brain works, and how hypothalamus, for instance, with the pituitary gland, is the carries information cells, and how these two little glands hold traumas. Yeah, and once you understand this, then you can cognitively follow from these to your wherever the pain is. So there's an intellectual learning that comes with this, and also I think very few people, at least they may have heard, but they don't really understand how these two glands with the adrenal gland, they form a 3-gland axis, and when there are disturbances in their chemical releases, they are the they are the beginning of, for instance, diabetes and other, those have been proven in science. And so you learn by going to my website and connecting with me, are very basics of the neuroscience. And the most exciting thing about this is that the connection, physical connection to your spirit, is through the pineal gland, which is different from all the other glands in your brain. It's not hampered by the brain barrier, the blood-brain barrier. It sits on top of your spinal column and connects directly to this pineal gland that has been for hundreds of years acknowledged as the connection to the spirit. So that is where you concentrate when you meditate, and you discipline yourself to sit, or even, you don't have to sit. You can just lie in bed and get high on meditation. Anybody can do that. It's awesome. I do that every morning, and I don't need that much sleep now, because I wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and I do this, and then I have a little sleep before I have my breakfast. And I mean, it's just incredible, and how rich your life becomes, and how you learn to know we live in 4 dimensions, okay? I tell you, once you learn to study this within yourself, what is going to be the understanding of everything, including this virus creature, becomes totally different, And the 4 dimension that we exist will expand into 5th, which is where you can connect with other souls. It's awesome. So.
Well, that's truly fascinating. So you definitely have to head over to happysoulhealthybody.com. That's happysoulhealthybody.com, and we will have the link to Anna's website underneath this video as part of the show notes. So I truly invite you to connect with her. She is an inspiration. You will be you feel energized just by going through her materials and just learning more from her. So once again, Anna, I just want to thank you for being part of this project and for sharing your stories and wisdom with us.
Okay. What I want to say is, to add to it a little bit more, to give myself a plug, is to, I have an email address on the website, ac9health.com. At gmail.com. And you can always reach out to me by emailing me. And I will be putting out emails. We build 1,500 or 1,600 people on our email list, which I lost, but we're going to reawaken that. So please request to be on my email list, because I'm going to be doing incredible work, but I need some help, in the technical area. And once I have that, then I can do more and more writing. I have masses of material that you are going to love, So make sure you get on my email list, okay? And the rest of it will come automatically. And listen inwardly, please. Please learn to listen inwardly. Yeah, it's just being silent.
Yeah.
Sitting in the bus, waking up in the morning, sitting with a friend that is not wanting to talk all the time. Be revolutionary. Teach other people to do that, because you are a healer. Beautiful. As well as I am. Thank you.
A beautiful message. Thank you again, Anna.
Thank you.